expressed in the following program are those of the program's participants and do not necessarily reflect those of station staff, management, and advertisers.
What's up, everybody? A very happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. I'm in a good mood today. I was in a good mood last night because Republicans got absolutely destroyed. We'll be talking about that today, but obviously a monumental, historic day for Democrats yesterday. A bloodbath for Republicans. We'll get into that. How's Donald Trump responding to it? How are Republicans responding to it? How are Democrats responding to it? We'll have wall-to-wall coverage on this. Of course, we're in the YouTube Super Chat where your questions and comments can be read live on the air. The website is pushingthelimits.live. We're on the AM/FM dial KSHP. And, of course, my personal YouTube page, which now has passed 151,000 subscribers, at PTL Radio Show. And we appreciate everybody being here. By the way, quick programming note for you. Yes, the man who was just pardoned by Donald Trump, George Santos, is going to be joining us on the program tomorrow, so I'm certainly looking forward to that. And a leader of the Young Republican Club here in Las Vegas, he's also represented a lot of Republican candidates. Woodrow Johnson's going to be joining us in studio. That is going to be an epic debate tomorrow in studio. But, of course, I am alongside my friend, and, of course, he'll be running the show for me on Friday as I fly out to Washington, D.C. Of course, I'm talking about Leonard Cardinale, who's joining us in studio today on a Wednesday. Leonard, it is good to see you. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great, Brian. What a great night last night. Great for America, great for democracy, great for civil rights. Very happy.
Yeah, so I am as well, Leonard. And obviously we're going to go through some of the excuses and downplaying by the Republican Party. But here's why this is an important day. Now, somebody on the right might say, or even a moderate might say, listen, these are all blue states. It's not a big deal. This was expected. Kamala Harris defeated Donald Trump by somewhere around 6 points, okay? Fairly close. But when you look at this gubernatorial race and what transpired here, it was multiplied, okay? And when you look at other states from last night, there were tons of more voters that voted Democrat than they did in the 2024 presidential election. That's why I believe, and at least in my personal opinion, when they say that it's a mandate when it comes to Donald Trump, it wasn't a mandate because it was an extremely close election. This is the definition of a mandate.
But 13 points might be. A 13-point victory, a 14-point victory.
Oh, sure.
Donald Trump won by 1.5%.
Right.
So out of every 100 people, 1.5 voted his way. Okay, that's not 13 points.
I agree. That's why
Mamdani won by 9 points.
I agree. That's why I say it wasn't a mandate back in 2024, and I think one could make
this
the case,
very well could be.
Right. One could make the case that this is a mandate. I agree with you. So obviously, the Mamdani mayoral race was an extremely important one from a lot of different perspectives. I think Cuomo is a complete buffoon. I've said that before. But Mamdani won pretty handily, and I'll be the first one to admit I'm not a huge Mamdani fan, but I do think he has some good ideas. And I'm at the stage now where I'm like, all right, let's give this guy a chance. Let's see what he can do in New York City. And I'm excited to see what he could do because I do think he's a smart guy. But now he has the opportunity January 1st to get to work. So this is, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't too impressed with his speech. I thought there were a lot of generalizations and I thought it was a little bit too long.
It was futuristic and overly broad, but it was good.
I was a little bored. I thought it was okay. But, I mean, this was the highlight of the speech for me when he went after Donald Trump. This was one of the moments where he brought up Donald Trump. I thought this was kind of funny.
So, Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
So I thought that was kind of a unique moment there, and I thought it was cool. And obviously he has a lot of support there in New York City. And I'm at the stage where, okay, congratulations. I'm glad you won. Would much rather see you in that position than Cuomo. But now it's time to get to work, or at least very soon, January 1st. And I'm curious, Leonard, to see how he does. He now has an opportunity. Okay, the campaigning is over. The promises are done with now. Okay, you're going to get to work, and let's see if you actually help people that are struggling. And I think he deserves the opportunity. He's earned the opportunity. He worked really hard. I give him credit for that.
He says he's going to cap rent in Manhattan. That's, there's a lot of landlords, there's a lot of slumlords, a lot of very rich millionaires.
Very,
and
very
people.
difficult to do something like that. But again, he's going to have the
He
opportunity.
promised, that was his number one promise. And then
He deserves a chance.
helping people with groceries and the bodegos and seeing if he could help people, live better. So it's quite a challenge.
Yeah, but he deserves the opportunity and the chance to do it. He won fair and square. And I want you to listen to how some of the Republicans are talking about this guy, because they've been doing it for months now, and I find it to be so utterly despicable. I don't care what you think about this guy, Mamdani. To call him a terrorist is so beyond the pale. And listen to what Emmer said in describing Mamdani earlier today. It's absolutely disgusting.
Pro-terrorist Marxist radicals are now the left's mainstream. We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about. That is a direct quote from Kami Mamdani, and it should terrify every single freedom-loving American.
No, you're the one who terrifies me, you white supremacist piece of human scum. Never has Mamdani said anything positive about Hamas. Never has Mamdani said anything positive about anybody who murders innocent people. You are a scumbag, and you are a white supremacist, and you are a rape supporter is what you are. You support Donald Trump. You support his agenda. You are a racist pig, Emmer. And he went on national television earlier today, and he continued with his pro-terrorist nonsense.
Right now, the question is, will Chuck Schumer and the Democrats realize that they need to be leaders and put the American people first, as opposed to their politics, putting the Mamdani pro-terrorist wing of their party first? So President Trump, right now, the question is, will Chuck...
So Emmer just described Mamdani once again as a pro-terrorist wing of the party.
That's ridiculous.
It is so beyond the pale despicable, and it's funny because all these Republicans out there will say, oh, you're the reason why Charlie Kirk was murdered. No, Tom Emmer is the reason. These people are not pro-terrorists. They don't want to see innocent people die.
Right.
Emmer is such a scumbag. Oh, and by the way, let me add something, you white supremacist piece of crap. Your beloved president of the United States, the orange turd Donald Trump, has the one who has aligned himself closely and accepted extravagant gifts from Qatar, a notorious funder of terrorists, which Donald Trump once said back in 2017. So if there's anybody cozying up to terrorists and supporting terrorists and people who support Hamas and Al-Qaeda, it's the guy who you support, Donald J. Trump, you scumbag,
He said
two-faced
Biden
piece of
should
garbage.
give the money back. He said you should give the money back. And Mamdani, just because he's a democratic socialist doesn't mean that you have to call him a Marxist. And, you and I talked off the air a little bit about Marxism, and briefly. Marxism is when labor pushes back on capitalism, and then capitalism pushes back on labor. But if you know the study of Marxism, ultimately what happens is they cancel each other out, and the society has no leadership and no laws and no direction forward because labor does what they want and capitalists do what they want. It's really, how could you say he's a Marxist? That is a reality of a philosophy that will never occur in any country, especially this country.
I guarantee you many of these people that use that term don't even know what a
They
Marxist
don't.
is.
That's why I took a minute to explain.
And not only that, but to say that he is pro-terrorist, meaning that you are pro-killing innocent people, not only is it a lie and is it wrong, but it makes Tom Emmer look like the stupid moron
it's
that he
simple
is.
racism because of the way he looks.
I agree. And Emmer is a white supremacist sympathizer.
He said good things about Israel last night in his speech. He said he supported the Palestinian people, and he articulated why. And so he's not really taking sides that you could articulate and say, oh, he's way on this side.
And the idea that they say, well, he's anti-Semitic, he's going to be horrible for the Jewish people. Okay, name me a policy that he wants to implement that you think is bad for Jewish people. I'm open ears. But they won't, because they're idiots. That's what these people are. They're idiots. They say he's pro-Hamas, he's pro-terrorist, he hates Jews. I've heard Jewish people in New York City, probably the same Jews who voted for Donald Trump, imbeciles is what I would call them, who are saying that, this guy, Mamdani, is a Jew hater. Okay, Name me something he's going to do in New York City that is bad for Jews. Is he going to exterminate Jews? Look at what Donald Trump is doing right now. Look at the way he's treating immigrants. They have ICE agents across the country who are not identifying themselves, who are tackling grandmothers outside of courtrooms. Tell me something that Mamdani, as a mayor, is going to do that is an anti-Semitic policy, because I can name you dozens of policies under the Trump administration that are bad for brown people in this country, that attack immigrants in this country, that are bad for poor people in this country, that only help the top 1%. So tell me something that Mamdani has done. You think he's an anti-Semite? Okay. What is he going to do that you think is really bad for Jews in New York City?
And that's not how he got elected. He got elected because he knew how to talk to people, and the Democrats could learn a lesson from him. Just say who you are. Be honest. Just say, this is the kind of, like, if someone asks you, oh, you're a lefty, you say, no, I'm an independent. Tell them who you are. Be proud of it. Stand by it. He told people what they wanted to hear. They're hurting for money. They're hurting economically. The poor people are hurting. The minorities are hurting. And he said, I'm going to do something about it as mayor. It was that simple. I don't see it any more complicated than that.
I agree. I completely agree with you. And by the way, to be fair, Emmer's not the only idiot using this language. A lot of others are. And then there's Kelly Loeffler, another complete imbecile. So Loeffler did the rounds this morning. And now she believes that this is a crisis. It's a crisis in New York. Listen to what she had to say.
This is going to be a crisis in the city of New York. To have a communist in there talking about seizing the means of production, taking away opportunities from small businesses, raising taxes, making promises that can't be kept. It's a cautionary tale for the rest of the country, but this is what the Democratic Party is. This is the face of the Democrat Party now, and you saw that with everyone, coming in and bowing to him. And this is why, this is what's at stake. It's the future of our country. It's free enterprise is at risk now.
Yep.
And small businesses are going to be the first to suffer.
Okay, so let me explain something to this moron, this dumb bimbo, Kelly Loeffler, because that's what she is. First of all, Trump is the one that is literally demanding government stakes in private corporations. That's a lot closer, in my personal opinion, to seizing the means of production than anything Mamdani is going to be able to do to this dumb bimbo MAGA buffoon. And she said he's going to raise taxes. No, he's not.
At no point did he even imply that.
First of all, he never said he was going to raise taxes. Nothing in his platform is talking about raising taxes. And if anything, the only taxes that would be raised is maybe for extremely wealthy people. He's certainly not going to be raising classes for the middle class and those that are struggling, like your buffoon president who you perform oral pleasure to verbally every single day, who is given $100 billion in tax breaks every year to the top 1%. But this dumb bimbo who wears the Donald Trump knee pads 24/7 is saying, Mom, we're in a crisis. Mom,
Can I
Donnie's
ask
the
you a
one.
question, Brian? When's the last time a mayor ran the country? When's the last time any mayor in any city in recent history
It's
or
stupid.
distant history?
But he's the face of the party.
Yeah, well,
the guy who wins the mayor is the face of the party.
That's their
It's so
branding right now.
stupid.
That is their
No,
branding.
Let me be very clear who the face of the party is for the Republican Party. An adjudicated rapist, a 34-count felon, okay? A guy, literally, who was sued and lost thousands of dollars of lawsuits because he didn't want black people living on his properties in New York City. That is the leader of your party, okay?
This is a referendum on Trump. Trump said it was not. His people said it was not a mandate. 13 points, 15 points. Did you know, just not to get off subject, in Pennsylvania, 467 elections were accomplished locally in Pennsylvania yesterday. Do you know how many Republicans won?
How many?
11.
11.
Okay, so when we want to talk about mandate, and it includes Pittsburgh and a lot of the surrounding area, which is, a little bit heavily Democrat, but 11 out of 467, that's not a mandate? That's not a direction? That's not a referendum on Trump and the Trump administration?
This is an absolute mandate.
And the judges, not to interrupt you, and the judges. Yeah. They retained 3 judges in Pennsylvania, so it remains 5-2. The 3 that they were trying to get rid of, you have to vote. Every 10 years, you can vote to retain them or have a new judge. And all 3 were retained, so they have a 5-2 advantage in the left-leaning favor in Pennsylvania. Does that sound like it was close, Brian? Is that even close?
No, it wasn't. And you're right, this is a mandate. But I'll tell you, somebody who doesn't think this is a mandate, let's talk a little bit about Tiny Mike Johnson real quickly. Tiny Mike. So Mike Johnson is downplaying what took place yesterday, and obviously Republicans, this is another example of them not learning anything from what took place last night. And I'm going to get into the weeds a little bit of why this happened last night, at least my personal opinions. But listen to Mike Johnson earlier today downplay the bloodbath that the Republicans
He didn't
faced
say,
last
I didn't
night.
know there was an election. He didn't say that?
Have a listen to this.
I don't think the loss last night was any reflection about Republicans at all. I think people are frustrated and angry, as we are. I am. The president is, and we express that different ways. But look, we look forward. We're looking forward to a great election, running on our record, and we're gonna get all of our incumbents reelected, and we're going to add to the number here. So that's the answer.
The fact that he would be in front of a microphone and he would say that this is not a reflection about Republicans. He cannot believe what he is saying. And he went on and he talked about and downplayed, oh, well, these are just blue states. And let me remind all of you before we play this idiotic clip of Mike Johnson that when you win by 15, 16 points and the presidential election, which was less than a year ago, Kamala Harris in these blue states won by maybe 5 or 6 points, and the lead tripled for Democrats. For him to downplay this like he is in this clip is unbelievable. Have a listen to this.
There's no surprises. What happened last night was blue states and blue cities voted blue. We all saw that coming. And no one should read too much into last night's election results. Off-year elections are not indicative of what's to come. That's what history teaches us. By the way, it's worthy of note that Zoran Mandami himself only received a little over 1 million votes, 1,036,000 votes. There are 8.3 million residents in New York City. 8.5 million, actually, is the number, I think. So about 12% of the city voted to turn their city over to the communists. We'll see how that works out.
So even Donald Trump doesn't believe this. I don't think little Mike Johnson believes this. But I think in this clip alone, he shows the contempt he has for American voters every day with these lies that he spews. And he also claimed just a few weeks ago that 8 million people at No Kings rallies were paid protesters. So obviously,
he's in another reality.
Yeah, this nonsense that he is
just
spewing.
Literally lives. You could see it on his face. There's a psychosis. And what he said makes no sense. They could have lost, and the Attorney General in Virginia was very close. And he won by 6 points, but it was still up for grabs. So I think Mike Johnson is just doing the usual Mike Johnson work. I'm surprised he didn't say, "Oh, was there an election last night? I don't know. I didn't hear about that. I'll look into it. I'll get back to you on that."
I'm actually surprised he didn't say that. Let me just clearly, before I get to some more clips, let me just quickly give you my opinions on why we saw what took place last night. First of all, there's a lot of people in this country. They want a secure border. They want people in this country coming in this country legal. Here's what they didn't vote for. I believe most of them, not all of them. Most of these people did not vote for ICE agents not identifying themselves across the country with Dr. Phil there with a microphone gleeing at the fact that you're separating families, you're deporting people, not even to their home country, sometimes in very high secure, maximum security prisons, tackling women in front of schools, picking up their kids, tackling grandmothers outside of courtrooms. Most of the American people did not vote. And even for the people out there that say Joe Biden didn't do a good job with the border, they did not vote for this. I'll tell you something else they did not vote for: a government shutdown. They were told by the liar-in-chief that the war would be over on day one in Ukraine, there would be peace in the Middle East, and they were told inflation would drop all the way down. You see meat prices, you see prices through the roof. They did not vote for a government shutdown. Many of these people, while many of them might be complicit, they did not vote to lose their medical coverage. They did not vote to lose their food stamps. They did not vote to lose their jobs.
Tariffs.
And they did not vote for these crazy tariffs either. But most Americans did not vote for this stuff. And last night was a perfect example of that. You don't go from Kamala Harris winning by 5 or 6 points in these blue states to these races, Democrats winning by 15 points. It is a big part of it. I would agree with some Republicans that are saying this. A big part of it, sure. Part of it is the government shutdown. But some of those other things that I'd mentioned as well. And that is why this is what a real mandate looks like. Now, with that being said, Democrats still need to keep the pedal to the metal, for lack of a better term. Got to make sure the turnout is good in 2026 and 2028. But my personal opinion right now, I know it is very early. My personal opinion right now is that this is the official start. It is the start to the end of MAGA. Now, I'm hopeful that I'm right, but that is my personal opinion. If I didn't feel that way, I wouldn't say it on the air right now. I believe, looking ahead to 2028, if it goes the way I hope it goes, we're going to look back on this night, last night, and say that was the beginning. It started with the government shutdown, and then it started with what took place in these several states last night. I believe this is the beginning.
It was a blue landslide. Let's call it what it was. It was a landslide, and I think more importantly, it was a roadmap. So the Democrats watching, the people in leadership, and Chuck Schumer has been getting beat up online. He's been beaten up on news, and I don't know if the guy's ever going to step aside, but I think he needs to. He doesn't seem to be up to the challenge of leading the Senate anymore.
Do you want to hear, though, Mike Johnson performing verbal fellatio on the President of the United States? I have some of that audio.
We get a little bit of that every day.
Yeah. Here's Mike Johnson saying, I don't know, that Donald Trump has ended like 80 wars. Have a listen to this.
We have put real reforms into the Medicaid program to strengthen it, because we got people who are ineligible recipients, like illegal aliens and young able-bodied men without dependents, off the program, so that the disabled, the elderly, and young pregnant women can have the resources they need. The president is literally solving wars around the globe. I think we're up to 9. All of that is on one side of the screen. What are the Democrats on the other side of the screen? A government shutdown.
It's amazing to me that Mike Johnson wakes up in the morning every day to put on his Donald Trump knee pads, and he has the most powerful position in Congress, which is, scary.
He's third in succession.
And he uses this position literally as a vehicle to accomplish nothing other than knee pad wearing and performing verbal fellatio on Donald Trump every single day. It's so pathetic. And here's where Mike Johnson talks about Prop 50. And make no mistake about it, Gavin Newsom doesn't even attempt to do this. If the Republicans didn't start doing it, and Greg Abbott didn't start talking about it in Texas.
And he didn't just demand redistricting. He went to the commission, the independent commission, and said, because that's what you have to do in California, you have to go through the independent commission in order to redistrict, and he got the people to vote by 2/3. Okay, so I think it was 66 to 35, 34, something like that. And so 2/3 of the people said, yeah, they want to redistrict. So they could pick up 5 seats.
And listen to Mike Johnson talking about California's Prop 50, saying that the Democrats did this because they're desperate. Have a listen to this.
Have anything to do with redistricting. The Speaker of the House, people think are in charge of everything. This is a state-by-state battle. We do believe at the end of the day that we will net more seats for the Republican Party than the Democrat Party. I mean, everybody, that's the analysis. I'll make a comment about the tragedy in California last night. What California did is very, very different, as you all know, by comparison to what a state like Texas did. Texas was following the federal and state constitution, following their state law and redistricting. California was not. They had to trample over their own state law, over their own independent redistricting commission that they had all put into place. It was a desperation, a sign of desperation on the Democrat Party. It was a game to try to rig the election, as if you could gerrymander California anymore. They managed to do it. I mean, there's like 53 representatives from California. We had 9. They want us to have 3. I mean, it's just a blatant example of Gavin Newsom's immoral leadership, and the fact that they will do anything to try to rig the system to win.
Wow, that was whining. That was grade A whining.
Immoral leadership. You guys have Donald Trump as the leader of the Republican Party, who had a hush money payment to Stormy Daniels for $130,000 after he raw dogged her. And this happened weeks before the presidential election. If you want to talk about immoral, Donald Trump is the guy who rolled out the red carpet for Vladimir Putin just a few months ago. What did Donald Trump and the American people get out of that one? You want to talk about immoral? What about the crypto scandal, where he literally pardoned somebody that he claims he didn't know anything about it, a guy that put hundreds of millions of dollars into his crypto scheme, where his family has been enriched close to $1 billion just this year alone. And we know that Donald Trump's net worth has rose 4 to 5 times higher than it was before he ever became president of the United States. And you want to talk about morals? The guy who has kids with 3 different women, who's been unfaithful to every single woman he's ever been with. And you want to talk about morals? You fake Christian SOB, you.
Well, Mike Johnson said he's a Christian, didn't he? Hasn't he asserted that he's a good Christian? Can you be Christian and worship immoral people? That was my question when a caller called on the phone about immorality.
Yeah.
Can you worship someone who's immoral
I don't
and be
think
a Christian?
So. I don't think so. And I would also go to say, and we can put Mike Johnson to bed here by saying this, there's nothing moral about Mike Johnson.
No, he's
everything
a liar.
he does and everything he says is a lie, and he is a phony. There is nothing moral about Mike Johnson. He is a despicable human being. He's an embarrassment, and even some Republicans are getting sick and tired of him, including Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is scheduled to join us next week on the program.
I hope so.
So that we'll put the Mike Johnson's little Mike to bed right now, and then let's start talking about the orange turd and how he is handling this terrible news. Yesterday.
He didn't handle it very well.
He wasn't very happy.
He looked tired. Didn't he look tired?
He did. He looked a little run down.
like,
It's funny because he couldn't say that it was rigged, right? He couldn't say that these elections were rigged, and
Not 13 points, 2/3 majority.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't even close.
So he's literally losing his mind by the day. And he's made this claim before. It's very strange because I don't think Donald Trump's ever been in a grocery store. Certainly he goes to a lot of restaurants. You could just look at him and you could understand that one. But for whatever reason, Donald Trump thinks you need ID to go to a grocery store. Very, very strange. Is he confusing that with Costco where you need a membership card? Like, I don't understand. He says it again, and this is the point where he's starting to talk about, Republicans terminating the filibuster. He really couldn't claim that it was his fault or, it's a mandate on him. So he starts talking and going into mail-in voting, and then he starts saying you need ID to go to a grocery store.
Did you need ID to go to Epstein Island? Do you know?
That
Did they have to show ID?
Good question.
Before they got a massage, did they have to go in and they say, do you have ID?
They certainly weren't asking for ID for the women that were giving the massages there. I can tell you that. I don't
They
know.
didn't even have ID yet. They were teenagers.
I don't know.
Young
I mean,
teenagers.
I want to go to 7-Eleven and I want to get a Slurpee. Do I need to show my ID?
I have a
don't
high
know.
school card.
I just want to buy a loaf of bread and some
I have a
peanut
library
butter.
card. Can I use that? No. We
This
need
guy's
ID.
never been in a grocery store before. I'm convinced. He's never
Well,
gone
they
into a
say
grocery
when he gets
store.
on the plane, I guess they have to have hot fries as soon as they said this on the news. He has to have hot fries as soon as he walks in from McDonald's, and then he has 3 different kind of sandwiches that he combines together from McDonald's. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't. But
It was on
that's
social
disgusting.
media, so I don't
That's
know. Maybe
disgusting.
it was.
That's I guess they form a sandwich between his French fries and Melania Trump. I don't know, but Melania hasn't been around for a while, so that's probably not true. Maybe Kimberly Guilfoyle. But anyway, this is Donald Trump claiming that you need ID to go to a grocery store. I'm not making this up. Here's the actual audio from last night.
It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation. There'll be no legislation passed for 3.25. We have 3.25 years, so that's a long time. But when they can't do an extension, and John, I think they've done an extension every single time they've ever been asked forever. This is the first time they haven't done an extension. Extensions are supposed to be easy, but if they won't do an extension, they won't do any bill, even a simple bill. And we should do our own bills. We should get out. We should do our own bills. We should open up. We should start tonight with the country's open. Congratulations. Then we should pass voter ID. We should pass no mail-in voting. We should pass all the things that we want to pass to make our elections secure and safe, because California is a disaster. Many of the states are disasters. But can you imagine when they vote almost unanimously against voter ID? All we want is voter ID. You go to a grocery store, you have to give ID. You go to a gas station, you give ID. But for voting, they want no voter ID. It's only for one reason, because they cheat. We would pass that in 15 minutes. If you don't get it, you'll never pass that. You'll never talk about mail-in ballots. Mail-in ballots make it automatically corrupt. If you have mail-in ballots, automatically it's correct.
Okay, so hold on a second. Let's backtrack. I'm 45 years old. Leonard, I've been driving a vehicle. I think I got my license when I was 17, not 16.
Me too.
Because my girlfriend at the time was like driving Mr. Shapiro, driving me all over the place. But I've been filling up my gas tank for many, many years, as I'm sure you have. Have you ever been asked for ID to get gas at a gas station?
No. Grocery store, no.
What the hell is this
Take
bumbling?
my kids roller skating.
What the
We
hell?
don't need ID.
What is this bumbling obese rapist talking about? What is he talking about?
I guess he's trying to make it so that people in society can't just walk in freely and interact and buy bread and buy milk and soda. I mean, he's watching people starve. His administration is literally starving America right now.
Well, he's weaponizing food stamps, which is even worse. But going back to what he just said, he literally said you need ID to go into a grocery store. What the F is he talking about?
Go buy a gun.
What is he
I can
talking
understand gun. You know, yeah, you have to have ID.
Yeah,
I
but
get
he was
that.
talking about going into a grocery store and people buying food. What is he talking
Register
about?
a vehicle, yeah. But can you imagine?
Buying nicotine, cigarettes, or alcohol at a gas station? Yes, but he didn't say that. He said you need to show ID at a gas station.
By the way,
To
he
buy
was a
gasoline?
big fan because he did so poorly with mail-in voting. The second time, he was encouraging people to use mail-in voting,
Yeah.
and especially in the Florida race. But he no longer has that opinion because he doesn't think it works for him.
This guy, can you imagine? I keep saying this over and over again. If Joe Biden held a press conference and Joe Biden said, if you go into a local grocery store to buy eggs, you need to show ID. Or if Joe Biden said, hey, you know, gas is going down. I showed my ID. As everyone knows, you have to show your ID at a gas station to get gas. Republicans would be leading. Oh, my God, he's losing it. Oh, my God, we need to check his medical records. Oh, my God. By the way, Donald Trump is the guy who just got an MRI, and the White House is still not saying why.
He doesn't look good. And what about the auto pen?
Yeah.
There's somebody signed the pardon, right, for CZ. Somebody signed it.
Well, listen, here's what happened. Okay, when it comes to that situation, he knows exactly who this guy is.
I know.
Okay, this is the man who put his company, hundreds of millions of dollars into Trump's crypto scheme. This was a pay for play.
Mm-hmm.
We all know that. Donald Trump made a lot of money in exchange for this pardon. Donald Trump is lying through his teeth. But the problem is when Donald Trump lies about this, he's being criticized for it because he's the one who was talking about Joe Biden not knowing who he pardoned with the auto pen stuff. And apparently Donald Trump is lying and claiming that he did the exact thing that he was criticizing Joe Biden
Joe
for
Biden
doing.
never said that. Joe Biden never said, I don't know who they are.
Never.
I don't know who I pardoned. Never, not even once.
No.
They're assuming that he didn't know.
And this is another example now of Donald Trump attacking half the country. We all talk about lowering the temperature, and they wanted Charlie Kirk murdered. They wanted Donald Trump killed. And again, I go back to these same idiots like the Jack Posobiec and others, complete morons who keep making these claims when it was one person that we know of that was responsible for Charlie Kirk being killed, while it was two people, one of whom was a registered Republican, another one who voted for Donald Trump in 2016, who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump.
So who's the real they?
Well, when they say they're trying to make the reference to lefty Democrats, and they're a bunch of freaking lying
But
scumbags.
they're the they.
Yeah.
They are the they.
They're a bunch of lying scumbags, okay? And this is Donald Trump attacking half the country now, calling Democrats kamikaze pilots. Have a listen to this.
I've heard that about 4 times. I heard it after Kings, they said I was a king. And I heard it after Kings. I heard it after a couple of other moments in time. And I said, no, I don't believe so. And now I heard it's after the election. I don't believe so. I think they're kamikaze pilots. I just got back from Japan. I talked about the kamikaze pilots. I think these guys are kamikaze. They'll take down the country if they have to. So I don't think so. Millions of
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the country was taken down for 8 years under Barack Obama. Yeah, the country was taken down under Joe Biden. You sick fool, you.
He's the one who's getting rid of institutions.
Yeah.
Long-standing. He's the one who fired 200,000 federal workers. Does that sound like somebody who's trying to be constructive or destructive?
Let me tell you what taking down the country looks like. When you have millions of people that are going to lose their food benefits and they have to scramble to find where their local church is in hopes that they can get some canned food. Taking down the country is over 20 million people.
How about occupying every state?
20 million people that are going to use their medical benefits, and then bringing in the National Guard.
Every state. They're going to occupy every state with special police.
Right.
That's his plan.
That is the case of on the definition of
that
a
is martial
dictatorship.
law.
Yeah, that's exactly. And giving the biggest tax breaks in the history of this country to the top 1%. You yourself bringing down this country, and your Republican cronies, morons, DEI hires like Stephen Miller, DEI hires like Pete Hegseth and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Kash Patel and Cosplay, Kristi Noem. You and all your crony DEI hires are taking down this institution in this country.
Brian, what about merit-based? Didn't they say it's going to be meritorious now? No more DEI. It's going to be based on merit. They literally put a Fox Weekend news host in charge of the Department of Defense.
Make no mistake.
Is it just me? Tell me if it is.
Make no mistake that 90% of Donald Trump's administration are DE orange hires. Okay, that's what they are. They're DE orange. That's what they are. Hashtag DE orange. I just made that up right now.
Diversity, exclusion, and orange.
Orange, yeah. That's what it is.
Orange aid.
Yeah, that's what it is. DE orange. These are all DE orange hires is what they are. And this is what it looks like when you take down the country. Okay, I want to take some phone calls on the other side, as we always do, Leonard. Leonard Cardinale joining me in studio. Number to call, 702-221-7283. And again, that number, 702-221-7283.
Invite some MAGAs.
MAGAs. Yeah, MAGAs are always welcome to call.
Please call us and explain how last night was a bad night for Dems.
Yeah, we'd love to hear
how
that.
About that?
And I want to hear from all of you. And maybe you guys think I'm overstating the importance of last night, and that's okay.
No, it was huge.
I've given you my opinion on it. I think this is the start to the end of MAGA. I think this is the beginning. Elon Musk wasn't able to save Republicans last night, and I believe this is going to continue. That's my personal opinion, regardless of some Democrats that are weak and the Chuck Schumers and the Hakeem Jeffries. I think this is the start to the end of MAGA. And we want to hear from you, 702-221-7283. Before I take a quick break, we'll get back to the YouTube. We'll get to the YouTube Super Chat when I come back. Check out my good friends at Jackson's Bar and Grill, located at Flamingo and Jones, home of the Pass the Puck contest, where you can win up to $500 in free slot play on any machine that you're playing during a Vegas Golden Knights game. Great food, great atmosphere. I love Jackson's Bar and Grill. Check them out and tell them that I sent you. We're going to take a quick break, and on the other side of the break, me and Leonard will be taking your phone calls. We'll be back right after this. You're listening to Pushing the Limit. KSHP.
Hey everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue New York style pie? Well, worry no more. Stallone's Italian Eatery Pizza is a knockout. We're located at 467 East Silverado Ranch Boulevard, just off of Premier Road, half a mile east of South Point Casino, just minutes from the Las Vegas Strip. Come by and grab a slice of pie. Plus, check out our Brooklyn-inspired Italian cuisine. Our sandwiches are super. Hero, that is, because why be a sub when you can be a hero? Stallone's Italian Eatery is here to serve you phenomenal food, Vegas. Forget about it.
Who would have thought there'd be so many kids playing ice hockey in the desert? Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, founded by Gina Yusufzai 8 years ago, made it possible for families who can't afford the equipment and fees. Donate today at www.hockeyforkids.org and help us continue making a difference. Join us in supporting Jake Helb's Hockey Foundation and the Las Vegas Ice Warriors, where every kid gets a shot at the starting line. Just a reminder, our
All right, welcome back. It is Pushing the Limits on a Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. For whatever reason, our Facebook stream went down. That's never happened before. But if you were listening on Facebook, which you probably are not watching and listening now, you can check us out on the YouTube page, which is at PTL Radio Show. And I'm actually going to have Leonard read some of our YouTube Super Chats because I just feel like it. That's all. I think Leonard has an illustrious voice. Leonard, would you like to read some of our YouTube Super Chats where your questions and comments can be heard? Go ahead, Leonard.
Winnie Sullett, thank you for your donation. She said, if I were to write a book about the heroes of our time, you guys would surely be counted among them for doing so much of the heavy lifting. That gets us such an overwhelming success last night. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Wasn't that nice? Thank you, Winnie.
That was very, very nice of her.
And one of our regulars, Lori Villalobos.
Yeah, Lori's great.
J.D. Vance needs to worry about running for president because his brother-in-law lost a mayoral in Ohio.
Yes, he got destroyed.
Abbott wants to charge 50% tariff to New Yorkers who moved to Texas. Stop complaining and do your job. Is there any truth to the rumor that J.D. Vance may leave his wife because she's not Christian? And,
I mean, I'm amazed that she hasn't left him, but that's another story for another show.
Mrs. Kirk or something?
Yeah. What are the odds that they've
What's
already,
going on with that?
What are the odds, by the way, that Kirk and J.D. Vance have hooked up?
Would that be?
I was talking about Charlie.
Almost
Kirk.
100.
I was talking about Charlie Kirk, by the way. 702-221-7.
At least with their couch.
702-221-7283 is the number to call if you want to be a part of the conversation. You know, I talk about healthcare all the time on this show, and I talk about the fact that open enrollment is now going through December 7th, which is it's incredible. It's like a month away. So I am so happy that I have been teamed up with these incredible people at Chapter. It's free and unbiased Medicare help. And again, they'll do it in under 20 minutes. They save people on average somewhere around $1,100 a month, which is incredible. And all you got to do is give them a call. And here's the best part about it, right? If you're on the right plan, they will tell you that. They're not trying to mess you up here. They're trying to save you money. Please give them a call. You see there right there on the bottom of the screen. That number is 212-461-4078. There's also a URL right there if you would choose to go online to get more information. It's askchapter.org/limits. So give our good friends a call at Chapter, and I promise they will help you. All right.
Can I get one more super chat?
Yes, go right ahead. Absolutely.
Immortal Suspects,
yes,
in all caps, made a nice donation. He said, "This is a donation for the DEI Orange Line." LOL. Leonard for governor. Wow, we're up to 51.
That's nice.
But you know what? If they make if they come up with a DE Orange Aid,
yeah,
I think you should get rights to that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to patent that.
I think you should.
DEI Orange Hires. DE Orange Hires. That's everybody in Donald Trump's administration, ladies and gentlemen. It's a DE Orange Hire. 702-221-7283. Let's start off with Jason. Jason is first up on PTN. Before we get to Jason, if you're just joining us, what we're talking about today is the Republicans getting absolutely destroyed yesterday. That is what an actual mandate looks like in these states.
It was a landslide.
Not what happened in the 2024 presidential election. If you disagree, you can call me right now. 702-221-7283. All right, Jason, what's up?
Okay, so, we're in trouble now because the Republicans know that they got no shot of winning in 2026. So Donald Trump is definitely going to implement, just like we told everybody about 2025, this is definitely going to be a possibility that, like, his secret police are going to be in every blue state. Yep. So there's only two things we got to think about. Number one, I think he's going to send secret police because there's only one demographic that really never votes for Donald Trump, and that's black women. So just like he's doing ICE with the brown people, he can send every black woman to go to churches and go get all black women and make sure they don't vote. That's number one. Number two, blue states, just think about it. If they do that cheating and secret police, we should think like the red states have been preaching over and over again. I think it's time for blue states to succeed from the union, because without blue states, red states would perish. I digress.
Thank you, Jason. I appreciate the call. And by the way, he's right. It was somewhere around 93% of black women that did not vote for Donald Trump. By the way, black women are some of the most educated people in society. So I think that should tell you
And
something.
almost every blue state pays more into the government, the federal government, than they take from the federal government. So if you talk about Texas or Arkansas or one of them, their states, they actually get more subsidies. They get more money from the federal government than they pay in.
Mm-hmm. You know, I was at dinner with some friends last night, and my phone was blowing up with a lot of text messages. A lot of people that are on my side, at least, that were very excited at the outcome of what took place last night. Let me just explain this to my very slow MAGA friends. This is what a mandate actually looks like.
Yes.
Not somebody who wins the popular vote by like 1%. This is what a mandate looks like. What do I mean by that? Well, in these blue states, and yes, they are blue states, where Kamala won by about 5 or 6 points, this was an upwards of around 15 points. That means triple the lead. That is what we call a mandate, ladies and gentlemen. For my slow MAGA friends who still think that a president who won by like 1%, then they think that that is a mandate. Let me be very clear on that. More than half the country can't stand the president. Okay? It's not a mandate. Most of the country, and proven yesterday, at least in these several states, can't stand the fact that we're in a government shutdown. And while they want border security, they don't approve of the way Donald Trump and his administration are handling it.
Well, he's down to 37%. I would say that's his base. I would say that's where it's going to stay.
Yep.
And I don't see him gaining any other momentum.
I agree. All right, let's get back to the phone calls. Again, if you're a Trump supporter, you're welcome to call in at 702-221-7283. Let's go to Brian. Brian is next up on PTL. Hi, Brian. Hi, Brian. Go right ahead.
Brian, you there?
Hey, how you doing, man? Good. I was just calling, man. Father, how you doing, Leonard? Good to see you too.
Thanks.
I'm just calling, for the people that just don't seem to get it. As you know, I'm a black man, and they just don't seem to get it. For all these strategists and stuff out here, and everybody in the super chat, hear me and hear me well. Black people don't vote Republican. Let me say it again.
Not entirely accurate.
Most black people, a vast majority, a huge majority of black people don't vote Republican.
That's true.
So when you see these idiots, you know what I'm saying, these talking heads, well, why is Barack Obama not endorsing Winsome Earl Sears?
Because she's a clown. Because she's a clown. That's why. Yeah.
I'm speaking. Yeah. It's crazy.
I'm speaking.
Crazy. Yeah. Crazy. She's not now she's a U.S. Marine Corps veteran. And, I served in the military too, so I respect
Thank you for your
that.
service.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. I'm not going to take that away from her. But this woman is crazier than a $3 bill. I'm telling you.
The whole MAGA crowd seems to be in some kind of alternate reality. This is just my personal opinion. And their alternate reality.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Leonard, but I wanted to ask you, Leonard, a question, and the gentleman on the phone. Do you think Donald Trump didn't endorse her because she's black? Or do you think he didn't endorse her because he knew that she was going to lose? I actually think it's a mixture of both.
I think because he has a reputation of being racist for decades now. Decades. And I believe that there's a certain segment of the population in America who didn't vote for Kamala Harris, even though she was overly qualified for president, maybe one of the most qualified because she was a black woman and because she was a female.
I agree.
And it's got to stop.
I agree. Go ahead, Brian.
I'm with you 1,000%. I believe it's like 60-40.
Yeah.
Because she's always tiptoed. When I say crazy, the woman is very unstable.
She's the black version of Nancy Mace. Would you agree with that?
I would agree with that. One minute she's dissing Donald Trump and MAGAs. Next moment she's not. I mean, pick a side, lady.
Well, Donald Trump endorsed Cuomo, right? And so he's not afraid to endorse someone that's going to lose.
Yeah.
Because we all knew that Andrew Cuomo was going to lose. And all he said was, don't vote for the Republican.
Yeah.
Vote for the independent. Didn't he say something like that against his own party? He said, "Don't vote for my party," because he knew he was going to lose. So I think maybe it's the racism gene, but that's just my opinion.
But if anybody out there is watching or listening right now, and you think this isn't a bad day for Republicans and that these were just blue states, and it's not that big of a deal, the number to call if you'd like to have a debate with us right now and talk about that, you have the forum 702-221-SAVE,
and I'll be nice.
702. I can't promise that. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Peter. Peter's
bad
next.
cop, worst cop.
What's up, Peter?
What's up, Brian? What's up, Leonard?
Hey, Brian.
Peter.
Leonard for governor, by the way.
Yep. There you go.
52
votes. That's pretty good. That's more votes than the guy that's going to get that was in studio yesterday. Peter, what's going on?
Hey, Brian, are you actually going to have Marjorie Taylor Greene on?
Yes, I'm not kidding. This is not an impersonator. Okay, when I say Donald Trump is coming on the phone, I think coming up, most people know that it's John DiDomenico. I'm actually in talks with her people, and we're trying to schedule a time frame for Marjorie Taylor Greene to come on the show next week.
That would be great.
We also have George Santos that is confirmed coming on the show tomorrow, so that's going to be very interesting as well.
Wow, did you see that when she said on The View that she was a victim of the media lie in regards to the QAnon and MAGA rhetoric, and is that something that you would ask her more about?
So I will. So here's my opinion on that. She has her own social media platform, and on her platform, she liked a lot of Q stuff, one of which said of the Jewish space lasers. Now, I don't know for sure if she was the one that pressed like on it, but what we do know, it was on her account. So what she should have done immediately, which she didn't do, was denounce it and denounce Q. And she didn't. And she didn't do that. So I think a part of it might be true. And I'm not trying to say Marjorie Taylor Greene's a victim, because she's not. She's the same person who chased around David Hogg before she was in office and harassed a bunch of people. But I will say this about Marjorie Taylor Greene now. I would ask her, okay, I agree with what you're doing now, and I respect what you're doing now, and I appreciate the fact that you're listening to your constituents. But where were you 9 years ago when Donald Trump said he had a replacement plan for Obamacare? Why didn't you criticize him then? Republicans didn't have a plan back then. They also don't have a plan now. I appreciate the fact that you're calling it out now, but where have you been, Marjorie? And I will ask you that. Where have you been for the last 9 years?
Is she really getting demaggoed, or is it just in her own best self-interest now?
I think it's maybe
she's pressing pretty hard on the Epstein files.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
she's really not.
I think it's a little bit
around on that.
I think it's a little bit of both. I will give her the benefit of the doubt on this. I do think she does care about the victims. And because why do I say that? Because she's met with them multiple times.
She doesn't like tariffs.
Yeah, she doesn't like the tariffs. She doesn't like what the Republicans are doing or lack thereof with the government shutdown in healthcare. She's been very vocal against Mike Johnson. She's very careful with criticizing Donald Trump, which I find interesting. But there's plenty of questions that I will ask her. But listen, if she's willing to come on this show, I'm not going to call her names, and I'm not going to, disrespect her
piece,
so long
yeah.
as she respects me. I will respect her. And as I appreciate any Republican that I might disagree with that is willing to come on this show. I've had Caroline Leavitt on this show. I've had Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on this show. I've had Vivek Ramaswamy on this show, and we weren't name calling one another. Certainly it could have gone down that route. Now there are some other people that I have interviewed.
Don't have Robbie Roadsteamer here.
So you're not gonna sing her a Robbie song?
I would love.
Yeah, I wouldn't have Robbie Roadstemer here that day.
I might play
big
the
horse
Robbie,
legs, and
I might play the Robbie Roadstemer song to introduce her. I don't know if she'll like that though. But
the
no.
horse legs one.
Yeah. Strong horse legs. Yep. Well, thank you for the call, my friend. I
Thanks,
appreciate
Peter.
it. All right. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Ryan. Ryan is next up on PTL. Hey, Ryan, what's going on? Hi, Ryan.
I am happy that Zoe Mondonzi won.
Say that again. What? I'm sorry, Ryan.
I'm glad that Zoe won.
Yeah,
me too.
As we are as well, Ryan. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, the president of the United States is not happy about that at all.
Well, of course he's not, because he represents everything that Donald Trump is obviously against, which is affordable housing, which we know Donald Trump was sued so many times and lost so many discrimination lawsuits because of the land, or I should say the property that he's owned in New York City and other places. He's for the poor. He wants everyone to be treated equally, as he said yesterday, within the confines of the law.
And who doesn't want that, Brian?
Right.
Not to interrupt you,
people
but
like Trump.
Who doesn't want that? Who doesn't want the poor to be fed, the children to be fed?
A lot of MAGA Republicans. Clearly.
So they did elect the right guy then.
Yeah.
Right? Then we would have to agree.
In New York City, I would agree. I think they did. Thank you for the call, my friend. 702-221-SAVE. Again, that number if you want to be a part of the program. Let's go to Mortal Suspects. Mortal Suspects is next up on PTL. What's up, my friend?
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Hey there.
How are you?
All right. How y'all doing today?
Good. What's on your mind today?
Why is Suspects all capitalized?
Well, long story short, I did music for years, and Immortal Suspects is actually my music group that I was in.
Okay, that makes sense.
And my YouTube channel is named that. And Suspects actually stands for Serving Under Surveillance, Protecting Everything Truthful, Considered Truthful and Sacred.
So basically everything that the Trump administration doesn't want and are scared of, basically, including Pete Hegseth. Pete Hegseth, who doesn't want the media covering any press briefings at the Pentagon unless you're Tim Pool or Jack Posobiec or Lindell TV or OAN, which is a joke. Anyway, I digress. Go ahead, Mortal.
So I wanted to point out something real quick because I'm from Virginia, where Spanberger won the race.
Yep.
And I wanted to point out the irony of Winsome Earl Sears losing. So she lost the black vote for being MAGA, and she lost the MAGA vote for being black.
So she thought she was outsmarting everybody, but she didn't.
Exactly.
She's trying to play both sides against the middle, and she got squeezed out, huh?
Yep, and she don't realize we too smart for that. She went to a Norfolk State game, and I think she went to Norfolk State as her alma mater, and she showed up, to try to campaign. And when she got on the field, everybody booed her relentlessly.
You think this? Can I ask you a question, Mortal? You think that last night will go down in history as a kind of a turning point for Democrats, and do you think they can keep the momentum? You think they're going to be able to?
Absolutely. Being that I'm from here in Virginia, I see it. This was a big MAGA area, especially in the area of Virginia that I'm in. Mm-hmm. But now you're starting to see a lot of people starting to turn. I think with the SNAP benefits, I think that changed a whole lot of people's mindset. with everything with this government shutdown.
I agree.
So I think we're moving in the right direction.
I think it's a mixture of that, Immortal. I agree with you. I think it's a mixture of that. The government shutdown, the fact that many people are going to be losing their health care benefits and they're scared. The fact that members of family members didn't think that Donald Trump would be deporting some of their friends and family members that are nonviolent criminals. And we're seeing it outside of schools. We're seeing it outside of Home Depots. We're seeing it outside of courtrooms. I think people are finally beginning. And again, I don't know why these people didn't believe this stuff or know this stuff after his first go around, but you could say too little, too late. It's unfortunate, but this is the beginning to the end of MAGA. This is my personal opinion. People have to continue to put their pedal to the metal. You're not going to have Elon Musk's help, I don't think, in 2028. So we'll just have to, or you never know with him because he's a scumbag. But I just think this is the beginning to the end of MAGA Republicans who once again are proving they do not know how to govern. The last government shutdown we had was back in 2019. And now we have another government shutdown that it turns out is going to be the longest government shutdown possibly in American history. And they have nobody to blame but themselves. The Republicans run the House, they run the Senate, and they can whine all they want.
And they're not at work.
We need 60 votes. Let me tell you something. When you are the party that is in charge, it is your responsibility to sit down and negotiate with the other side. The Democrats are the ones that are reaching out their hand and saying, hey, we want to sit down and we want to talk to you. It's the Republicans that are ignoring it. They don't know how to negotiate. They don't know how to govern. They don't know how to work with the other side. Bill Clinton is and listen, I have my issues with Bill Clinton, but if there's one thing he was really good at, he was really good at working with the other side. Republicans do not know how to do that.
He left us a surplus.
He did.
He left us a surplus.
He did.
The only time in modern history where the budget was actually balanced.
Yeah,
for,
we did.
For a short period of time.
Yep. I don't like his personal stuff that he did, and I thought that was embarrassing, but I don't believe it was criminal. You can point to Donald Trump and say he is a 34-count convicted felon, and I know people. Brian, Tim Pool will say,
he hasn't been sentenced.
By the way, Tim Pool, a guy who I'm going to debate on Saturday live in D.C., Brian, name the charges. What's the underlying crime? Now, I know it was fraud, and I know it was, falsifying business
Stormy
records.
Daniels.
It doesn't matter whether somebody can clear up or explain everything involving the case. The bottom line is a jury found him guilty, of 34 felony counts. He was also found liable for sexually abusing E. Jean Carroll. So these right-wing Republicans can continue to curl themselves into a pretzel and make excuses for Orange Man, but it's not going to work. Immortal, good to hear from you, my friend, and I appreciate
Thanks for the call.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, fellas. Y'all take care, man.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Immortal, and I appreciate your support of this show. I appreciate your kind words. 702-221-7283. Now, listen, if you're watching on social media, could be TikTok, could be X. I think we're back up on Facebook. I could be wrong on that. Could be YouTube, which is at PTL Radio Show. And you disagree with some of the stuff that me and Leonard are saying, we welcome MAGA callers to call into the show. I would love to have a debate with you and tell me why last night wasn't a big deal for MAGA Republicans. Or maybe you're a Republican and you agree with us.
Prove me wrong.
All right. Who do we got next here? 702-221-7283. Isaacar is next up on PTL. Hello, Isaacar.
What's going on, Brian? What's going on, Leonard?
What's up, Isaacar?
I'll tell you what happened last night, man. If only that happened last year. If only that happened like the last election, like we wouldn't even be here. But then again, beggars can't be choosers. But let me just say this. I'm glad, as far as Virginia, Spanberger went ahead and won against Winsome, who's she's a nutcase. Mikey won against Jack. Jack is 0-3 now. I just found that out last night. He ran 3 times. He's 0-3 now. But I was most as far as across the board where it was special elections, the Democrats just sweeped every single Republican, and rightfully so, because they realize and they see what's going on with the administration, with them shutting everything down, with SNAP being removed, with their health care is on the line because the Republicans do not want to negotiate and stuff. So for Mike Johnson to go ahead and say, oh, this was the blue states that happened, this was blue this and blue that, no. People understand and have common sense and understand that if they do not vote the right way, if they do not put the right people in power, and right now the Democrats have to fight and have to oppose the Republicans because they're the ones that are in power, then guess what? Everything will be lost for them because the Republicans, Donald Trump, the people that have complete control are going to do everything they can to try to demolish everything. And this is one other thing I just want to say. I'm glad that Zohar Mamdani won last night. I'm glad, like, over everything, like, everybody winning is great, but him is the most, because the amount of names, the amount of people that try to take him down, the amount of times that he was called a communist, the amount of times he said that they thought that he was going to implement Sharia law.
Ridiculous.
That they was going to go ahead and talk about.
He couldn't do that. He couldn't do it if he wanted to. He doesn't have the power to do that.
He's a mayor.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And one thing about it, like, I don't know if you saw it, but yesterday I saw on Twitter that this elected official went ahead and posted a clip of a 9/11, like of the plane going into the Twin Towers, and I'm just like, I would expect that from a troll, but it's just like, you are an elected official and you're posting this, and he said, New York, remember, don't do the wrong thing, or something like that. And it's just like, man, like, you are like,
that was kind of racist, wasn't it, Issachar?
Exactly. And that's exactly why, like, you know, I hope this win is, you know, a wake up call for the Democrats, and say, hey, you know, we don't have to agree with everything Wazon did, but the main focus of his campaign was affordability.
No doubt.
Of him, you know, making sure that, you know, the prices go low, making sure the quality of life for everybody get better. You know, forget all this identity politics about the whole, you know, the transgender or the multiple, like, you know, different genders and stuff, or going to things.
Yeah, what's
like,
a man and what's a woman?
That.
That's what they focus on. What's a man and what's a woman as a question, not to question what people losing their health care or their medical coverage or all the violence in this country. Yeah, or sending out the National Guard. What's a man and what's a woman? Can you define what a woman and a man is? These people are so stupid.
Can I add one thing, Brian?
Yeah.
So they said, well, they're all blue states anyway. Isn't that what Trump and his administration? Well, they're all blue states. Do you know who won Pennsylvania in 2024? Trump.
Yeah.
Right. So they're not all blue states.
No.
That was a red state.
This is a
and
mandate.
some of the counties where they voted last night were actually red districts.
By the way, speaking of Pennsylvania, can we please get that idiot Fetterman out of office? That moron.
What is he doing? What happened to him?
By the way, I'm sure Fox News will get the first interview if he decides to run for president. That fool. Let's go to Rebecca.
I don't have a problem
Rebecca is next up on PTL. Hey, Rebecca, what's up? Hi, Rebecca. Turn your radio down if you can for me. Thank you.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Leonard.
Hi,
how are you doing?
Good.
Good to speak with you. Yeah, my fellow brothers and sisters of registered independents and Democrats, keep your eye on the ball.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Stop. Don't stop rallying. Don't stop protesting. Don't stop always speaking up, because they're going to do everything they can, because they know they're sinking, to try to cheat, lie, steal, whatever they can do.
Oh yeah, the fight's just beginning. It's not over. Last night was a good step in the
That's
right
what
direction,
I'm
but
saying.
by no
We
means
won
is it
a
over.
battle, but not the war.
Isn't
and
that
my
the truth?
son, he's in his mid-20s. He's 100% disabled. He still hasn't received his SNAP benefits.
That's horrible.
Rebecca, let me ask you a question. Can I ask you a question? What is it going to take for the old guard, the Chuck Schumers of the world? What's it going to take for those people to move on? What are the Democrats going to have to do to get some new blood, possibly some young blood, some new ideas, some energy into the Senate, into the House of Representatives? Do you think it's even possible?
I think anything's possible, but yeah, they got to get him out. They got to get him out. He's not. He's a nice man. He's a good person, but we need some young, fresh blood with fresh ideas.
I agree.
Yeah, strongly worded letter is not going to do
Chuck
it.
Schumer's got to go, man. Chuck
Yeah.
Schumer's got to go, and we got to get some younger, fresher blood in there. Not to be confused with the type of younger people that Donald Trump allegedly hung out with Jeffrey Epstein.
They don't have to be younger,
clear
but they
on
do
that
have
one.
to have some young energy.
No doubt. 702-221-7283. Let's go to Mike. Mike is next up on PTL. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Brian, how you doing? I called you a few months ago. Do you think Trump's getting what he deserves at this stage?
No.
No.
I think if Trump got what he deserved, he would be in solitary confinement, eating one meal a day for the rest of his life. Vegan food, by the way.
Yes,
and banned from
exactly.
McDonald's.
He's nothing but a crook, a liar, a thief.
Yeah, make no mistake about it. What does Donald Trump deserve? There's certain things that I can't say on the air.
Be taken out and hanged.
But I will. No, I'm not going to go that route. But I will say this: send him to an El Salvador holding cell. I want who is. I'm trying to remember the singer who's dating. What's his name on the Kansas City Chiefs?
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. Yeah.
Kelsey?
I want him to have to listen outside of a speaker outside his
24/7.
24/7. I want him speaking to her music looped over and over and over again while a TV is in his cell that is MSNBC and Rachel Maddow played over and
How about
over.
a picture of Barack Obama accepting the Nobel
There you
Peace
go.
Prize right
There
on the
you
wall?
go.
But I want
24
him
by 24.
I don't want to serve him KFC or any food that he might
No,
enjoy.
no.
That's on. I want
Yeah, I
him.
want to know if
ultra-reprocessed food.
McDonald's
I want-
delivers at 3 o'clock in the morning.
I want him served the healthiest, most disgusting food that he could ever get. Just once a day. He's only allowed to take a shower once a week, which I probably would assume is
That's
what he
not
does
gonna change
now.
much.
Yeah, that probably won't change very much. And then George Santos has to visit with him on a daily basis for conjugal visits. That's something that I would enjoy. And listen, George is coming on tomorrow. We'll see if he would agree to that. I don't know. But that is, he actually is coming on the show tomorrow. He'd probably think that was funny. But that's what, in my opinion, sir, that is what I think Donald Trump deserves. I hope.
To be sent down, get out to Alcatraz,
Yeah, is Alcatraz?
Or how
is
about
closed,
Libya?
along with the rest of his family.
How about Libya or Rwanda?
Yeah,
They send people
that's
there.
a good idea.
though. Yeah, that's probably what I think Donald Trump deserves. Yeah.
Well, he needs to be taken out of this thing, and he's ruining this country, and they are too stupid to realize it.
I don't disagree with you, my friend. I think you're right on point there. It's what I say every single day. If there's one thing that Donald Trump accomplished, he was able to accomplish and tell the world how stupid so many Americans are. Let's go to Ricardo. Ricardo is next up on PTL. Hey, Ricardo, what's going on?
Hey, how are you doing?
What's up,
Hey,
Ricardo?
Ricardo.
Last night was a great night. It's a blue wave. It happened.
Mhm.
I just worry, we won that night, but in midterms, I'm worried about what Donald Trump is going to be up to. Is he going to be authoritarianism, going in there and send troops in there?
He absolutely is.
Or what, in your opinion, what do you think he's going to do?
He may not even have an election. He may start a war with Venezuela because he can do that anytime he wants, even though they're not attacking our country, but he's not going to go to Congress. And what if he says we're at war and then uses Ukraine as an example and says, well, they didn't have an election when they were at war? Or what about if he says that the Democrats cheated and I'm not leaving? And he's surrounded by military and surrounded by his own private security and says, no, I don't agree that I lost. And I don't agree that the congressman lost. And I don't agree that the senators won. And now the Democrats take over. That's all possible. I think it's possible. And remember, it's a conspiracy until it happens.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it. I wouldn't probably have answered that question the same way that Leonard did a year ago. But I certainly would probably tend to agree with him now based on where we're at as a country, if that makes sense.
And I got one more question.
Sure.
I was reading about Amazon, like Jeff Bezos. We're giving all this money as a tax break, and he wants to get rid of 400,000 workers and automate all his company, all his.
But this
warehouses.
is part. But so I've heard that story as well, my friend. Here's the bottom line here, right? The Jeff Bezoses of the world and the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world are all scumbags. I put them in the same realm as a Elon Musk or the people that own Walmart.
Yeah, it's all money.
Now, why do I say that? They do not care about the American people. Okay, they do not care about their employees. They only care about themselves and their bottom line and maybe their investors. They don't care about their employees, many of them that are making under $15 an hour. So the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. We're talking about, Elon Musk and the money that he has and Jeff Bezos and how much money do they actually donate to charity? How much actual money are they putting towards their employees? Without them, they wouldn't be making the money that they're making. So it's par for the course. Listen, it's very difficult to tell business owners how much they should pay their employees, but we as consumers cannot shop there, not go to Walmart. I refuse to walk into a Walmart. I am sick and tired of the billions and billions and billions of dollars that company is making, and how many of their employees, who are, whether they be greeters or baggers or cashiers, that are making under $15.
And they're all part-time. Not to interrupt you, but they're all part-time.
Right.
I talk to them and I ask them, because sometimes they're miserable and they're at the counter and they go, yeah. And not only are they part-time, they don't get their schedule for the following week until that Friday. So they don't even know what hours they're working.
It's just so
And they don't let them get over 30 hours. So they don't have to pay medical.
Right.
They don't have to pay any benefits of any kind.
Yep.
And they said only the manager and the assistant manager and one other supervisor are full-time. Everyone else in the store is part-time.
Despicable.
That's not America.
No,
That's
it's
not American.
It's not. I'm with you. 702-221-7283. By the way, if you're a Donald Trump supporter, if you're MAGA, you're welcome to call in.
I'll be nice.
Last night, how did that turn out for you Republicans out there? I'm just wondering. I'm just asking.
If you think it wasn't that bad, call and tell us why.
Where's Scott Pressler? Why isn't he jumping up and down like a ballerina? Scott, where are you, buddy? By the way, the guy blocked me, and I was kicked out of one of his events in Las Vegas for doing nothing. Scott Pressler, I guess he's afraid of me. I don't know what the deal is with Scott Pressler. Love to get into the ring with Scott Pressler. Let's go to Will. Will is next up on PTL. Hello, Will.
Hey, Brian. Hey, Leonard. How you guys doing?
Hi, Will. What's up, Will?
Listen, this is just my opinion. I live in New Jersey, and it just seems that this blue wave is the country's fed up. I can tell you from the New Jersey perspective, the counties, they called them bomb threats to counties that they knew that they were going to lose. Up in Passaic County, northern New Jersey, where it's predominantly Hispanic, 75%, of the vote went to Mikey Sherrill. They did not want to vote for MAGA. They did not want to vote for
New Jersey. Will, isn't the high taxes something that is just pissing everyone off? That they have some of the highest taxes in the entire country, and it doesn't look like there's going to be any reprieve anytime soon. So they're paying more taxes than almost half of the states in the entire country. Did you know that?
Yes, and I'll tell you a little thing about New Jersey, Leonard.
I grew up there.
Oh, okay. Oh, then you know.
I was born in Newark.
Oh, nice. Okay, I actually was New York until I was about 8 years old, and then I moved to a little town in Central Jersey. But anyway, real quick, they pretty much are rejecting MAGA. That the Hispanic population. Like I said, they outperformed. Yeah, they were calling it a tight race.
It would be like if Donald Trump had a second shot at Stormy Daniels and he lasted a minute. Stormy Daniels would say, "Mr. President, you outperformed."
That'd be a red wave.
Yeah, that would be a red wave. You outperformed from the 13 seconds we spent together last time. I would say, so some of my MAGA friends might be able to get that analogy. I'm not so sure. The joke I'm making is that Donald Trump lasted 13 seconds with Stormy Daniels, and if he lasted a minute, that would be 4 times the length. That would be 4 times, well, not the length, because we know the length was, it's a mushroom. But anyway, according to Stormy Daniels. So anyway, I'm trying to explain myself, not to you, sir, but to some of my very special MAGA friends who might understand. That's what we would call outperforming, right? If he lasted a minute. So, that's what the Democrats did last night.
I think it was a clear message that, they're fed up. The country shut down. People are suffering. Healthcare is out of control. The silent majority showed up and they're rejecting MAGA, the Republicans, this fascism, and they want change. And to get back to the taxes, it's funny, they always blame Democrats for raising taxes. Not the case. When Christie was the governor, my taxes went up 4 times. Every 2 years he would raise taxes. 8 years, Murphy did not go once and actually implemented Anchor, which is a rebate that saves you about 10%. So,
what are tariffs if not taxes, Will?
Yeah.
What are tariffs? They're the biggest taxes on America in American history.
By the way, thank you for the call, my friend. I appreciate you. Leonard, it's your job now to go back to the YouTube Super Chat because you do such a great job.
I'm the Super Chat dude.
Yes. Who do we got on the YouTube Super Chat, Leonard?
Jonah K.
Go for it.
George Santos said a lot on his interview with Tucker Carlson. Now he's out and his ex posts are insane. Why doesn't he even have to pay restitution? Why praise Trump and Congress after what he said about it? It's being a circus.
I'm going to thank you for your donation. I'm going to ask him that question tomorrow. That's what I disagree with wholeheartedly. He should have to pay restitution. I agree. 702-221-7283, the number to call. Why don't we go to Brandon? I believe Brandon, if I'm not mistaken, is next up on PTL. Hey, Brandon, thanks for calling in. What's up? Hi, Brandon.
Brandon?
Let's go, Brandon. Is Brandon not there?
Moving on.
Did we lose Brandon? Earth to Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Let's move on to the next phone call. Brandon was not there. Let's see. Who are we going to next here? Let's go. Who are we going to next? I'll let my producer decide on that one. Let's go to Pat. Pat is next on PTL. What's up, Pat?
Hey, Brian.
Hey, what's up?
I am so excited. This gives me so much hope. And a vote for Leonard.
Oh, it's 53.
Yes. I am so excited. This gives me so much hope. So much hope. Where is Herb? I need to hear Herb on here. What you got to say,
I
Herb?
think he got disheartened. I don't know what happened.
I'll tell you what happened.
Exactly.
When you get beat up verbally on the air so many times over and over again, I think finally, he'll hang up his Trump hat and he'll say,
He's probably somewhere rubbing Donald Trump's feet.
Yeah, or
His
rubbing
feet.
or rubbing something else.
If he could get to him, do you ever see how tight his shoes are? And his whole ankle hangs over the sides. I've never seen anybody with feet like
rubbing
that.
his fat cankles.
Cankles, yeah, that's what they are. Cankles. I agree.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call, Pat.
Appreciate you. All right, let's go back to Brandon. I think let's go, Brandon. Here we go.
Did we get Brandon?
Brandon, what's up?
Where's Brandon?
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, Brian. A few things on my mind. First of all, you showed yesterday that you talked about Donald Trump weaponizing hunger, quote unquote. I think he's doing a good job by holding the stamp benefits hostage because it forces people to actually work hard for their food instead of just relying on the government. This whole culture of dependency is very toxic, and so many of these people have too much to eat and not enough to do. So if you kind of pull the rug up from underneath them, maybe they'll start working a little bit harder.
Okay, so let's talk about that. Brandon, hold on. I'll let you finish and make your other point, but let's just, if it's okay, let's just stick with that point first. All the people out there that are working full-time jobs, how many of those people are offered benefits? Do you know? Do you have any?
What kind of benefits?
Yeah, any benefits. Whether healthcare. Yeah. How many? I'm just curious because I want to know because you made the point that, basically people are lazy and this will get them off their ass. Of all the people in this country that are working full-time jobs, how many of those people are offered benefits?
Well, I'm not a statistician, and I don't have.
Okay, you don't. Okay, so I do, and it's not right in front of me. I actually talk about these things every day, and I'm educated on the issue. With all due respect, you just made a blatant statement that you think it's good that he's taking food stamps away from American people,
starving people,
but you have absolutely no idea how many of these people are even.
They're unhealthy.
Okay. Donald Trump is unhealthy, so spare me with your BS. Okay, so that's irrelevant. 30% of people that are working in this country that are not lazy, that get up in the morning and go to work, 30% of them are not offered benefits. Since you didn't know that, let me give you another stat that I'm sure you are completely ill-informed and unaware of. Of the people that are offered benefits, that are working full-time jobs, how many of them can afford those benefits? Let me guess. You don't know. Silence means you. I don't know. Right. You don't know.
I think Brian knows.
49%. And by the way, that's not in front of me. This is what I do for a living. So you just said that all these people are lazy. I just showed you, and you can look up those stats if you don't believe me. So would you say that people that are working full-time jobs are lazy? The reason why I ask you that, sir, is because a lot of those people that we are talking about are on food stamps, and they're working full-time jobs. Would you call those people lazy, sir? Yes or no?
They're not lazy. They just need to work a little bit harder.
They need to work. Some of those. Okay, hold on. You just said, quote, they need to work a little bit harder. Are you also aware, sir, that many of those people are working 2, in some cases, 3 jobs? So what do you mean when you say, quote, they need to just work a little bit harder?
And they have to pay a babysitter.
Every single person that you see that is on food stamps, you would just say to them, tough cookies, you need to work a little bit harder. Do you know how many people that I know that at one point in their life were actually on food stamps? many of them Republicans. Let me bring up a name for you, sir. He passed away a few years ago. I've spoken to him about this because he was a fraud. And I don't care whether he's alive or not. Do you remember a guy by the name of Joe the Plumber, sir?
I remember him vaguely.
Good. Do you remember him criticizing Barack Obama for exactly the same thing that you are criticizing them for? Lazy, they need to get off their ass. Do you remember that conversation he had with Barack Obama? You remember that?
Vaguely.
Vaguely, okay.
Yes.
Guess who was on food stamps and welfare at one point in their life?
Probably Obama.
No, Joe the Plumber. Nice try, buddy. Nice try. Joe the Plumber was on welfare and was on food stamps. And then you guys made him the poster child of, oh, well, we need to get people off of food stamps and welfare because they're all lazy. Sir, with respect, you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Do you understand that millions of Americans, many of them that are hardworking Americans that have families, rely on food stamps and Medicaid to live? And you're going on the air and calling into the show. And yes, you're entitled to your opinion, even though as ill-informed as you are, because you have no idea what you're talking about, that many of these Americans are hardworking people that rely on these government programs. How is it possible that you are not aware of this?
So, Brandon, you think it's okay to starve people because you don't think they work hard enough? You don't know their life circumstances. You don't know anything about these people.
Well, you
don't know how they got into the situation. Many of them have broken families, and they were born into broken families.
Hold on a second.
You're assuming they're just lazy.
Did you hear what he just said? He just said, if you don't work, you don't eat. Sir, get the MAGA wax out of your ears. Did you understand what I just said? I just slowly tried
That is as un-American as it gets.
I just slowly tried to explain to you.
Most American thing you can do is work.
Sir, I just explained to you the working class in this country, which you were completely ill-informed to. I gave you the statistics, which completely goes to the opposite of your argument. So would you like to move on now? Because you have no idea what you're talking about.
He's un-American.
Well, it's not even un-American. You're just ill-informed, sir. You don't know what you're talking about.
It's not American to watch starving people starve and blame them for it.
Why is Mamdani, who won a free and fair election, un-American? Give me a policy that you disagree with.
Well, look at him. He's a Muslim.
Okay.
That's so racist. Oh, my God.
Hold on. So you don't want a Muslim being an elected official who's a legal immigrant in this country?
Absolutely not.
Okay. So you just
Islam's anti-Western.
Okay.
You're in another reality.
Hold on.
And this is a Christian nation.
Hold on. Stop talking. When I say hold on, that means shut up. Okay. You're telling me right now that you don't want any brown people as elected officials in this country. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't say brown. I said Islam's incompatible with America.
So every single...
That's un-American.
Hold on a second. So every Islamic person, doesn't matter who they are. So if you're Islam, in your opinion, they're all bad?
I didn't say they're all bad. So they should not be holding office because their ideology is incompatible with America, which is a Christian.
That makes no sense. He hasn't done anything
nation.
in accordance with his ideology to go against America. He hasn't done one thing you can name. Name one thing he's done. One policy.
What is his ideology?
His ideology is Marxist, communist.
No, it's not.
No, he's not Marxist.
Name me one Marxist or communist policy that he spoke about as running for office, please.
Government-run grocery stores. That's socialism.
Okay, so first of all, government-run grocery stores.
Which is anti-American as well as being Islam.
Now it's time for you to be quiet because I'm going to inform you once again because you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about. What he was speaking about is certain grocery stores that help the needy. The prices are lower. Okay. Yes, exactly. He was talking about those for the most needy people in this country that are starving. Now, we've already established that you have absolutely no idea what you're talking about when it comes to working class America and many of those people that are struggling. You also don't know what you're talking about. That has nothing to do with being Marxist. It has to do with setting up government-run grocery stores to help the most needy, poorest people in this country. We don't want those people stealing. We don't want those people living on the streets. Idiots like you complain every day about the homeless problem, but then when Democrats come up with some solutions that would help getting people off the streets, you call them Marxists. Okay, so you failed miserably on that occasion.
And it wasn't government run, by the way.
Right. Give me another example, because you failed on example number one.
That is not what he said.
Of something that is a communist or Marxist policy? Give me another example. You haven't given me one yet. Go ahead.
Does he even know what Marxism is?
Government controlling and subsidizing the transportation. I mean,
okay, so you think
that's
it's
not Marxist?
Again, that's not Marxist. Can you tell me what the word Marxist? What does the word Marxist mean? What's the definition of Marxist?
Yeah, you're calling him a Marxist. Define it.
What's socialism?
Impress us with your definition.
Like AOC, Bernie.
I didn't ask you. No.
No.
Hold on. I didn't ask you who was socialist. I said, and don't Google it on your Obama phone. What is the definition of socialism?
Socialism is where the government controls the means of everything, and they get
that is nuts.
And they
He doesn't even know what socialism is, sir. You're such a moron.
He does need Google.
Do you
know what Marxism is? Because Marxism, at its very height, cannot exist in any society, let alone American society. What you're saying is a red herring. It's an ideology that doesn't exist anywhere.
By the way, local transportation is provided by taxpayers, okay, which clearly you're unfamiliar with. You don't know what you're talking about.
And that's a social program, and Republicans use the bus.
Yeah, and then I hear you guys talking about voter ID, and everybody needs ID to vote. Well, if you're homeless and you don't have transportation, okay, well, if you're homeless and you need transportation, don't you think that would help people get voter ID, dummy?
Well, I mean,
you're wasting my time.
How about communism?
Let's ask.
How about if he knows communism?
Let's ask him another question because he's failed on the first two.
Okay.
You claim that Mamdani is a Marxist and a socialist. By the way, you don't even know the definition of the two, but that's okay.
Nothing wrong with being a socialist.
You said
he's not good.
You said, okay, well, that's your opinion. I don't think you're good, okay? I know enough about you to say you're not good for the country. You're a socialist. You're a Marxist, okay? Give me a third example. Your first example was grocery stores to help the poor. That's not Marxist. Okay, then you talked about bus transportation or public transportation. That wouldn't make it Marxist either. Give me a third example, even though you don't know the definition of what a Marxist is or a socialist is. Go ahead. Give me another example, sir. I'll give you the chance.
Well, that's only two things that really stick out because I don't live in New York, but I just know that this guy is anti-American.
Give me an example of what is anti-American based on policy. Go ahead, sir. And by the way, feeding the poor is not anti-American. Give me an example of something
it's very American.
Give me an example of something that Mamdani has said or something he wants to implement policy-wise that you would consider anti-American. Go ahead.
I don't have any specifics.
You don't have anything because you don't know what you're talking about.
Can I ask him a question?
You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have any facts. You have no idea what you're talking about. You listen to your Mark Levin and Sean Hannity and right-wing media that feed you BS. And do you understand, sir? I'm trying to have a conversation with you. When you make a claim, for example, I think that Donald Trump has abused women. Why do I think that? Because he's a liable sexual abuser, proven in a court of law. He's had 25 women he's had 25 women that have accused him of such. And he was best friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and his own ex-wife testified under oath that he assaulted her. You see, when I come up with an opinion, like you don't like Mamdani, okay, fine. Give me some reasons why. And you say, well, he's Marxist, he's socialist. Number one, you don't even know what a Marxist is.
He's a Muslim. He's anti-American.
So let me deal with your racism for a moment, sir. Do you know that there? Anti-American.
Totally racist.
Do you realize that there are?
No, it's not.
Okay, so hold on. Did you serve this country, sir? Yes or no?
Military.
Okay, you didn't serve the country. Are you aware that there are tons of Muslims, thousands of Muslims that are serving in our military? Are you aware of that, sir? Yes or no? Answer the question.
Yeah, like Nadal Hassan was.
Okay.
I mean,
are you, sir, answer my question. Are you aware that there are thousands that are Muslim people in this country legally that are serving to protect people like you? And would you call those people anti-American? Yes or no?
I wouldn't call them that.
Because you're a moron. Let me just be clear.
Can I take a stab?
Hang on one second.
And then I want to take a
You never served this country, but yet people that are Muslim who have put everything on the line came into this country the right way for a better life for themselves and their family, risking their lives to protect idiots like you, serving. And you say they're anti-American? Do you realize what a fool you are? You are a coward and you are a racist. Why don't you repeat after me? I'm a coward and I'm a racist because that's what you are. You're despicable.
No, Brandon, can I take a stab at maybe making some sense to you?
Witness.
I'm sorry, what? Wait, hold on one second.
You're bearing false witness.
How so? How so?
Because you're saying things about me that's not true.
Okay, you never, hold on. No, you're the one who's slandering. You never served this country, and there are brave men and women in uniform that are Muslim that are serving this country and risking their lives.
They reject Christ.
So he can be on the show and say what he wants.
First of all, just because of your religion, whether you're an atheist, you reject Christ, no matter what your religion is, I don't care. You know what I care about? And by the way, to say that all Muslims reject Christ makes you an imbecile because they don't.
They do.
Okay, hold on, sir.
That's not
so
true.
Are you saying if you're an atheist and you reject Christ and that's your right as your religious belief, but you're willing to, why don't you wait until I finish my question, you buffoon? If you're an atheist, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, and you risk your life for this country and you're 22 years old and you lose your life at war, would you call that person anti-American, or would you say that person is a hero? Yes or no? Is that a hero, or is that somebody anti-American who doesn't?
I would say a hero, but I would pray for the repose of their soul because they obviously have to atone for their sins.
Why is it that somebody straps on a uniform, serves this country honorably, willing to risk their life for this country, and they pay the ultimate price, but because they don't believe in Jesus Christ like you, they're not a hero? Do you realize
Well,
how
he said
stupid?
they need prayers and repose. That makes no sense. They gave their life for their country. Brandon, let me see if I can make a little sense to you, if you don't mind. So you seem to be, Republican, a MAGA, which is okay. You can, believe whatever you want. But let me ask you something. I assume you have a vehicle, maybe a family. I assume you go to work or you drive on vacation.
I don't assume that.
Did you ever?
I don't think this guy is a GED.
Brandon, did you ever drive on a public road? Did you ever drive at night where there's street lights? Did you ever walk on a public sidewalk? Did you ever call 911 for medical or fire or police emergency? Have you ever done that?
Sure.
Okay, then you agree with socialism because those are all social programs. So you must think socialism is okay for you. You just don't think it's okay for other people because you don't like their circumstances. And what I'm trying to tell you is you're being small-minded and closed-minded. Open up your mind and realize that socialism is what makes America run. They collect the taxes and then they provide the services. You like the services, but you don't like the people that are getting the services. You think only you and the people like you deserve those services. And I think that, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to call you any names, but I think maybe you need to get more educated and maybe read some books. Start with, the U.S. Constitution. Start with that. So you understand how America got here. You understand why we have to help the poor and the sick and the elderly. You don't get it.
The problem, Brandon, is you also make generalizations about certain groups of individuals. Let me tell you something.
And you do that with MAGA. So
no, I don't. Point? Name me one thing I've said to generalize every single person who voted for Donald Trump.
Well, you call everyone despicable. This,
Wrong. No, trust me. I know what I say. See, these are people that don't listen. I'm going to ask you to take the MAGA wax out of your ears and listen for a moment, okay? Never had I said that every single person who voted for Donald Trump is despicable. I did say that everybody that is despicable in this country probably voted for Donald Trump. Never did I say everybody who voted for Donald Trump is racist. What I did say is everybody that is racist voted for Donald Trump.
That's exactly what
Now,
you
I
said.
know that that's very difficult for you to understand, okay?
I am not a Trump diehard either.
I don't care. You're
not my first pick.
I don't care. Did you hear what I just said? Why don't you admit what you just said is wrong? Never have I said everybody who has voted for Donald Trump is despicable. Why don't you on the air right now own it and say, oh, sorry, I didn't realize that's what you said. Why don't you admit what you said was wrong? You make stuff up.
Okay, I was wrong.
Thank you.
I was wrong.
Thank you.
You got to give credit for that.
No, I'm not going to give him any credit. Are you also wrong when you say that everybody, because that's how this conversation started, everybody that is on food stamps is lazy or they need to get off their ass. Now that I've given you the statistics of people that are working, hard working people, will you also admit you were wrong about that?
Well, not all of them are lazy, but I'm saying a lot of them. I worked at a grocery store. A lot of these people, they buy like pop and
so because you worked at a grocery store, I would imagine as a bagger, because
It's just common sense.
I would imagine because you worked at a grocery store, that means you can define every hardworking American in this country that's on food stamps. Sir, you don't know what you're talking about. And let me tell you, if you were a greeter at this grocery store, I would look the other way. Okay. I would walk away from you. Okay. You were probably a terrible greeter. You were probably a terrible bagger.
I'd give you a hug.
I wouldn't want you to touch me. You'd be the last person on the planet.
Listen to me, Brandon.
I'd punch you in the face if you tried to touch me. I would defend myself.
Listen to me, Brandon. So you understand,
press
it is
charges.
un-American to not feed the hungry. It's un-American to blame them for their own circumstances. It's un-American to say that the elderly have to provide their own health insurance and, oh, too bad for them. It's American to stand up for these people, to feed these people, to fight for these people. You're very un-American, in my opinion.
Can I ask him another question?
Leonard, it's un-American to rely on the government. For everything.
Please. First of all,
There's never been more government than
please.
now. The government is in every state. The government is in every institution. The government is every single place. This is the biggest
So you worked
government
at a
we've
supermarket.
ever had.
How much money did you make when you worked at the supermarket, sir?
Oh, it's been many years.
I don't
probably made like $12 an hour.
Right.
It's been
And how
many
many
years since
Okay,
I've
and
done
how
that.
many hours did you work there, sir? Per week? Like
I think we're between like 32 and 40 a week.
Gotcha. So you were making how much money per year there?
I don't know. I'm not a mathematician.
So maybe
$11
you're not.
$11
Maybe
is $22,000.
So maybe you're making around $22,000 to $20,000 a year. You're paying your taxes. I'm wondering, how did you live on like $15,000 a year?
Well, at the time I was living at home, still going to school. So I mean, I didn't have.
So
I
you
mean,
were
still living at home.
So you were leeching off of your family. So you don't want people using government benefits to help them survive. But you're the guy making $15,000
Is he
a
in
year.
between jobs?
You're the guy making $15,000 a year that was leeching off of your parents. What are you doing now, sir?
No vehicle.
Well, I have a very responsible job, but I'm not going to tell you what I do.
Okay, so
for
let
work.
me ask you another question. There are some people in this country that couldn't rely on their parents for whatever reason. Maybe they were bad parents. Maybe they don't have parents. So for somebody that was working your job as a bagger or whatever the hell you were doing, making $15,000 a year after taxes, would you think it would be bad for those people to maybe get $200 a month off the government for food stamps that maybe didn't have the luxury that you have to leech off of your parents? Would you have a problem with that? Or it's only people like you who are the lucky ones who can leech off your parents and live with your family?
His parents were subsidizing him.
Yeah. What do you think about that, sir? Are you okay with someone that was
lazy?
Is someone that was in your position that doesn't have parents that they can leech off of like you?
Is that lazy?
Answer the question, sir.
No, it's not. I mean, if they're working hard, if they're working hard,
okay,
doing the right thing.
Okay, good. I'm glad we agree.
Okay, but he didn't make enough money.
Hold on,
to get his
Brandon.
own.
Brandon. Okay, so hang on. You just agreed with me that yes, it's okay if they're working hard. I gave you the stats to start this conversation, which I don't think registered in your head. So we'll try.
The hillbillies and the welfare mamas in the hood.
I know you're racist, sir. Just relax for a
I'm
moment.
not a racist.
Okay, no, you're
Oh,
not.
you're totally
you're
a
not,
racist.
You're not,
Are you kidding?
You're not.
You're the definition.
You're not racist at all, yet you made a complete generalization about all Muslims. Okay, you're the definition.
And Mamdani, yeah.
Okay, you just agreed with me, okay, that if you're making $15 an hour and they don't have parents to live with and leech off of like you did, that you're okay with them getting government benefits. I just told you that 30% of people that are working right now are not offered benefits and 49% of them can't afford it. So why don't you admit that you're wrong about this conversation? You make assumptions about people. You make assumptions about religions. You make assumptions about hardworking Americans that need government assistance to survive, yet you have no idea what you're talking about. And instead of you getting government assistance, you leached off your parents, sir. You know what? I'm done with you. Have a nice day. Good luck with the rest of your bagging career.
Was he saying
okay?
he was a Christian also?
Freaking moron. 70222.
Why do they even debate? They have no facts, no common sense, no critical thinking.
Well,
come on, Brandon, do better.
GED
study.
GED Brandon. Let's go to Damon. Damon is next on PTL. Hey, Damon, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Brandon? What's up, Leonard?
Hey, Damon.
Did you just call me Brandon?
Got Brandon on the brain.
No, I may have, dude. That Brandon was on my mind. My bad.
That's okay. Go ahead, Damon.
Yeah, but what's that number, Leonard, for the 50? That's people that'll vote for you?
Yes.
Oh, you're talking to me about the go. So
Yeah.
every once in a while, someone will call or in the room, they will say Leonard for governor. So I count that as a vote. And so I think I'm up to like 53. But today there were several in the live chat, and I'm up to about 61, I would say right now.
Right. Okay. What's the number on people that'll volunteer for you?
Well, here's the thing. I don't think I'd make a good politician because I'm a say it like it is kind of guy, and I don't really bend the knee. And but I've had I was a union president, and I've had large unions offer to pay for my entire campaign. If I would run for something, I just don't think I'd be a good politician.
I would like to run for Donald Trump's press secretary, if that's okay.
Okay. Well, Leonard, what you just told me are reasons for you not to run.
are nothing but reasons for you to run.
But in the
Everything
political
we just
sphere,
did is what we
that
need, and
someone who says it like it is and is plain talking and easy to talk to, that's not what they want. That's not what's popular.
Well, I would vote, Leonard, for the record, I would vote for you. Let's go to
62.
Let's go to Kim. Kim is next on PTL. What's up, Kim?
Hey, I was just going to respond to that, Brandon, about
Yeah.
I wanted him to hear what I have to say because I was a nurse, and there's more people that are getting food stamps than what he thinks.
Well, listen,
I think he knows that.
This is the base of Donald Trump. Okay, they're very ill-informed. They're uneducated. They don't understand what they're talking about. They make generalizations, and he made racist statements about Muslims. I know some good Muslim people in this country. They are pro-America. They are good, hardworking people. And no, for him to make those types of generalizations are the same types of generalizations that so many MAGA Republicans make.
And there's people that get cancer that they go in the hospital, find out they're dying of cancer. They need cancer treatment and everything else,
Yeah.
And that are going to have incurable diseases. There's children that their parents find out they have cancer. Their children, they need this assistance. This is a myth that they've listened to the Republicans, Trump, and everything else, and I'm sick of this. People are not sitting at home and getting food stamps, and it's more than that. There are people that are in car wrecks that they need transported by helicopter to other hospital that wipes them out medically, and then they have to end up with this on food stamps.
You're right.
Yeah, and in a civilized society, Kim, in a civilized, intelligent society with good people, with good hearts, they will take care of their poor and their sick and their elderly. That's just the bottom line. That's America.
Thank you for the call, my dear. We appreciate you. Let's go to Jeff. Hey, Jeff, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Brian?
Hey.
Hey, Leonard, how are you? I appreciate both you guys hamming and egging against these jackasses. But Brian, you mentioned that you're going to be debating Tim Pool.
Yeah, live studio audience on Saturday in DC. Yep.
Well, so you had mentioned that you kind of expect that he's going to say something about the misdemeanor turned to felony, and you can't even name that. That has been used on many occasions, and I have forwarded to you sort of a case history of how that has been used. So please take that and shove it up his ass when he tries to.
I appreciate that. My opinion has still stayed the same, and the only point that I'm making is the jury found him guilty on 34 felony counts. I personally don't care.
But Brian,
yeah,
they're gonna say, yeah, but it's never been used before. It was only used for him.
Okay, then appeal.
No, if you or I would have did it, Jeff, you know what? I know where I'd be right now. You'd be calling me in prison.
Thank you,
and
Jeff.
If Brian or I did that same thing.
Thanks, Jeff. I got to run because we've got to get to some other callers. But you're right.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I agree with what you said. If it was you,
you'd be calling me in prison.
Completely agree with you. Let's go to Debbie. Debbie is next. What's up, Debbie?
Hey, Brian. I was a school teacher here in Seattle, and I worked for the Title I. The school was under a Title I program, which it consists of a lot of low-income families. Like 93% of our student families were low income. Yeah. And a lot of those families had two jobs. The dad had two jobs, the mom had two jobs. And we served after school. We served free breakfast, free lunch, and at our after-school programs, we gave them dinner also. And so these are working families. They're not people that are lazy and sitting on their butts at home. A lot of them are single moms, and they were different nationalities, very diverse school that I worked for. And yes, there was some that were immigrants, and those Hispanic immigrants, they weren't able to go.
They weren't born into rich families.
They couldn't afford to go apply. They couldn't apply for food stamps. So that's a bunch of lies that the Republicans are saying. I know firsthand because I worked with families like that.
I agree.
It's ridiculous.
But this is all they do. They blame Democrats for the shutdown. Thank you for the call, my dear.
Sounds like a woman with a big heart.
I appreciate you, my dear. This is what the Trump administration does, right? They blame Democrats for the shutdown, when all Democrats want is to make sure that there are medical benefits and food stamps on the table.
Is that too much to ask?
No, I don't. I think it's
feed hungry people, feed kids when their best meal of the week is when they're at school. Give them the SNAP program, get them fed, take care of. What about parents that are so old that people can't work,
right?
Because their parents are too old to take care of themselves, and so they need some assistance. Is that that's evil?
And you put that cross around your neck as a religious man. And I'm not a religious person, but Jesus's teachings, correct me if I'm wrong, is help thy neighbor, those that are struggling, poor people that are struggling, help them, right? And then Caroline Leavitt puts that around her neck.
Feed the hungry.
Yeah, but that's what a good human being, whatever religion you are, that is what a good human being, the way a good human being thinks, right? And then Caroline Leavitt puts that cross around her neck, the liar Leavitt. And they're totally okay with this.
We're taught not to be judgmental as Christians, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that she's no Christian.
No.
We're not supposed to call other people out for not being a Christian, but
Terrible
there's no way that girl has Christianity in her heart.
Agree.
There's no way.
Speaking of good human beings, we always love having the MAGA destroyer, Darlene, joining us.
Oh, let's go.
Darlene, what's going on?
Hey, Brian. Hey, Leonard. You're my favorite co-host.
Thank you, darling.
If it's okay, guys, I want to say something to Brandon. Brandon, I know you're listening, and I want to tell you something. I'm hungry today, and guess what? I don't get food stamps. Guess what? I've been disabled since 2004, and I want to borrow some of yours. And another thing, Brandon, you're telling everybody, you need to be working. Well, what the hell are you doing now? If you got time to call in to Brian and Leonard, you need to be out working.
Let me tell you something.
And that's exactly how I feel. And I don't even get Brandon. Not only that, I'm a white woman. Do you hear me?
If you have somebody, I'm sorry to interrupt you, Lauren, but if anybody, listeners, go to a grocery store today and somebody's bagging their food and their name is Brandon, you need to find out if he called into my show today.
It'd be like, dude, did you, not for nothing, but did you call Pushing the Limits today? Because I thought I heard you on there.
He's the guy that's going to crush your eggs and put your bread in there with the milk. I'm telling you, that's what he's going to do.
And
I'm going to say this real quick. I want to say this real quick. Brandon, I have been disabled since 2004. I can bring my disabled letters where they approve me, and Brian can show it on air. Guess what? I never got it, Brandon. I've never had Medicaid, and I've been disabled since 2004, and I'm white.
And
now you tell me, where is my check?
Come on, Darlene.
Where's my insurance?
Well,
just
Darlene,
another grifter, another shady MAGA.
Darlene, they don't want to hear from people like you, but I do, and that's why I love it when you call in every day, and I'm humbled
Darlene,
that you listen to the show, Darlene, and I love you. Thank you so much. Let's go to Dave. Dave is next on PTL. What's up, Dave?
Hey, what's up, Brian?
Hey.
Boy, if I saw my cell phone and how long I was on hold for an hour, it'll tell me that. So.
Well, thank you for holding on and being patient.
Thanks for your patience.
Now you get to say what you called for.
Yep.
Well, you and I are very smart because we read a lot. I read a lot and everything. You and I, Leonard too. You're smart. You're very intelligent. I love reading. I like reading what's going on. So, can we say something about Schumer? Chuck Schumer. Oh boy. Yes, he's the New York senator, and he was elected since 1998. All right. Why is it, and I already know, why is it that these people keep voting him in, and he took money, $1.7 million from AIPAC since 1984,
right.
$1.73 million from the pro-Israel organization, including AIPAC, since 1990 to 2024, and they still have him there, and I don't know why these idiots still vote him out next year.
For him to
I
go.
hope they do.
It's time for him to go. It's time for him to move on. We need new blood, new ideas, new leadership, new energy. But you got to remember, he's the old guard. And the old guard have a lot of money and a lot of power. So I really don't know how the Dems are going to get him to move on.
I'll tell you who else needs some new blood. Have you seen the skin color of Donald Trump?
He did not.
He needs some Donald Trump needs some new blood.
Did you see the behind the ear, the white? It's his whole scalp is completely white.
Didn't he lose 8 gallons of blood in Pennsylvania? I don't know. Off that boo-boo he had on his ear. I don't know. It's very interesting how his ear miraculously
It repaired itself.
Yeah, it repaired itself the next day. He played golf. I mean,
maybe he's a robot.
Isn't that strange? I mean, I don't know. I find that very weird. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. Maybe
is he artificial life or something?
Maybe I will wear a tampon on my ear in honor of Donald Trump.
That would be funny as hell.
Maybe I will do that. I don't know. I might do that.
I wouldn't be able to have a serious conversation with having that thing sticking out of
Look at all those idiots at the Republican National Convention that were all wearing tampons on their ears.
What
and
was
it's not a cold.
What did Robbie's road
Are you
steamer
kidding
have?
me?
A diaper? What did he have on his ear, Robbie? A diaper or something? Yeah, he's that guy's hilarious.
Yeah.
But my point is, he didn't support Amundsen. You know that, right?
I do.
He didn't support him.
Yeah.
Even they asked him and said, "Will you support Amundsen?" He says, "No." And I couldn't believe he said that on the documentary. It was just crazy.
Yeah.
So he needs to go. But I appreciate
I
taking
agree.
my call.
I want to get a Donald
All right.
Trump signed maxi pad. That's what I want. I want to sign it up in my house. Thank you for the phone call. I'll raise it to the rafters.
With the signature on it?
Yeah, I want Donald Trump's signature on it on a maxi pad. That's what I want. Really, that's what I want. Quickly, I got about 30 seconds for Carl. I want to get Carl in here. Hey, Carl, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind, man?
Well,
hey,
it's Carl. You got me?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Go ahead, Carl.
Oh, good. I just want to give you my quick evaluation of what's happened. You said that's probably the end of MAGA, which I agree with, because what's happening is that approximately 10 million people, Democrats, who didn't vote for Harris in the last election, they just stayed home, are starting to come out and seeing what's going on.
They didn't stay home last night.
Yeah, well, they're going to completely overwhelm the Republican Party and so forth. And the Senate and the Congress, you're going to see the Congress is going to be taken over. Everything's going to happen like this.
Hey, Carl.
And,
Carl, I agree with you. You listen to conservative shows in Las Vegas, right? Once in a while.
Oh yeah.
What would you say? What would you say about some of these shows? I'm just curious. Just enlighten me. Don't these shows? They beg for calls. They get like one call an hour, like 1 or 2 calls an hour, right?
Yeah, they do.
Don't they?
Yeah, but these people are probably paid.
Yeah, but they say, we're going to go to a commercial and we're going to take some calls when we come back. Then they come back and they're like,
no calls.
Call this number if you want to talk.
Our phone lines are open, and they're always open.
In just a few minutes, and then they never take calls.
Carl, here's what I want you to do. Okay, I want you to do me a quick favor. Next time these people struggle for calls, call them up and say, why is it that Brian Shapiro gets 2 hours of phone calls every day and you're lucky to get 2 calls your entire show? Can you do that
That's
for me?
a good question.
And then I'll play it on the air.
course.
I'll play it on the air, Carl, and you'll be a hero. You'll be a hero of PTL. Can you do that for me, Carl?
Oh, of course I will. And
that's nice of you.
That's
Thank
beside the point. It's psychological anyway.
Thank you, Carl.
Thanks, Carl.
Carl,
Thanks
I'm
for
up
the
against
call.
the clock. I'm serious. I want you to do that, Carl, because I think it'd be a lot of fun. Leonard, you're going to be filling in for me Friday, which I appreciate.
Yeah, I'll
very
be here
much.
Friday.
Hopefully
it'll be nice.
I missed you the last couple days. It's nice to have you here.
I missed you too.
Yes, and so Leonard,
I was calling in though. I called in and I was
Well, I
in the
like it when
live
you
chat
call.
for a while.
I like it when you call in. So this is an independently owned radio show, as Leonard is aware. I'm speaking to the listeners here. We rely on good people like you to help support what we do. Now, yeah, you can be on the YouTube Super Chat, which we appreciate, TikTok, and there's all sorts of different ways to donate. But if you go to my website, which we'll put at the bottom of your screen, pushingthelimits.live. Right? There's the website. You see it there at the bottom. Pushingthelimits.live. There's a little icon there that says donate. $5, $10, $20 a month. We have so many loyal listeners, and we appreciate all of you. And if you like what we do here and you're new to the show and you'd like to be involved and donate, that's your opportunity to do so. Go to the website and donate.
Thanks for having me today.
Absolutely. Pushingthelimits.live. And Leonard, everybody will be seeing you Friday. You will be filling in for me, which I appreciate.
On
And
my own.
guess who's starting the show tomorrow, folks, with me? George Santos. You're not going to want to miss it. Okay. Woodrow Johnson's going to be joining us in studio too from the Young Republican Club. So it's going to be a good debate. Leonard,
I can't wait.
Always great to see you, Leonard.
Thanks,
we'll see you
Brian.
tomorrow, everybody. Have a great day.
Hey, everybody, are you struggling to find a pizza place that reminds you of Brooklyn? That true blue